the possibility is destroying America. We took a look at how Fox News hosts have been talking about this subject. Here's just a few examples from this week.
Socialism is absolutely toxic.
All the Democrat candidates are for socialism, or a variety of socialism. There are no more moderates in today's extreme Democratic Party, as socialism is completely, and radicalism completely taken over.
Socialism is toxic.
Toxic, okay, we get it. Well, let's widen out the lens. Because in the United States, there is a socialist magazine. It's called Jacobin. It's been out for years. It's been growing in popularity. The editor and the founder is Bhaskar Sankara. His book is titled The Socialist Manifesto, and it came out earlier this year. Bhaskar, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, what is the parallelism between the rise of conversation about socialism in America and the rise of your magazine?
Well, we have been committed to articulating the kind of politics we think can actually reach a majority of Americans, of kind of politics that says that there are certain things in life that shouldn't be the result of accidents of birth. There are certain things in life that we all deserve just by virtue of being born. And obviously we've grown a lot. We're at 50,000 subscribers. Before Trump started mentioning socialism, before Trump got elected, we were at 10, 15,000. Before Bernie Sanders, we were down in the doldrums.
So do you call that a Trump bump, or was that a Bernie Sanders bump with people wanting to subscribe to your magazine?
Well, I think during the campaign, Bernie Sanders articulated a set of ideas that were to the left of traditional establishment liberalism. And we needed that as a prerequisite. But it was actually Trump election that really exploded the political spectrum in the United States, because we saw that establishment liberalism was no longer capable of really galvanizing people, and I think as a result we saw the rise of this dangerous right populism and what Trump represents.
The way that hosts on Fox talk about socialism is fascinating to me. Here's an example from economics writer Ben Stein.
All these ways of socialist thinking are ways to control the American people and to take away their freedom to choose, their freedom to do what they want to do with their lives. Socialism is about maintaining government control over people.
So control. How do you define socialism? How do you react to sound bites like that?
Well, I think socialism is actually about freedom. It's about freedom to be able to determine the destiny of our own lives. So when I think about my relationship with my health insurance company, I'm not thinking about my freedom to choose between different health insurance providers. I'm thinking about the premium that I have to pay every month. I'm thinking about the fact that if I lose my job, if I'm out of work, then I'll have to find a new provider and go uninsured. And if I'm uninsured, I might have to pay a fine at the end of the year. You know, this is the status quo. And I think that socialism in the United States, democratic socialism, really means that there are certain things in life where we don't actually want to be held hostage to the market. And in fact, healthcare, education, childcare, housing, these basic things need to be provided, at least at the base level, as a right to ordinary people.
So you're trying to change the conversation, it sounds like. You're trying to reshape how socialism is defined in the United States. Because when you watch Fox, all you hear about is Venezuela.
Yeah, I think it really behooves them to try to scaremonger people, because the core program that someone like Bernie Sanders is fighting for, Medicare for all, a decent job for all, better housing protections, these things are broadly popular. And as individual policy items, they're popular, but obviously they need to find a way to make it scary and make this thing that's kind of common sense scary, because it's common sense to people that when they go to the doctor they should get a bill, just like if, you know, God forbid there's a fire in your house, you wouldn't expect to get a bill from the local fire company.
And Jacobin is at 50,000 readers in print, presumably a bigger audience online. And do you see that growing during the Democratic primary?
Yeah, it's been growing. I mean, we reach some months up to 2 million people online, but there's other outlets like Breitbart, Daily Caller. You know, these outlets reach many more people than us. Tens of millions more people.
To be clear, you have a much smaller audience than, you know, well, how would you describe it?
Well, I would say that we are committed to producing our material with a degree of rigor. We want people who are conservatives, who are liberals, we want others to be able to read and debate with our ideas, and that means maybe not falling into some of the same traps of engaging in just kind of the real fake news, which is the kind of propagandistic stuff you get in Breitbart and other venues.
Bhaskar, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Quick break.